In Tombia Street, people moved it to Lagos. Why did they move the capital department that was here down to Lagos?
He, however, said that the state will partner with the agency in the area of human capital development. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwere, NTA News.
Let's now take you to Ebonyi State, where INEC offices in the north and east local government areas of the state have been burnt Tuesday night by unknown gunmen. Uchichukwu Chibueze Idam reports that though no life was lost, the facilities were completely razed down.
The attack on INEC offices in the 3 local government areas of Ebonyi State, including Ebonyi, Ezanov, and Izi, was allegedly launched at the same time by unknown gunmen. Confirming the incident to newsmen, the public relations officer of INEC, Ebonyi State, Ali Cornelo, said that although no life was lost, the properties were completely burnt down.
We went there and saw the effects. The commission is aware of the burning of 3 of the offices, completely razed down, destroying most of our electoral materials, which comprises generators, cubicles, and some polling ballot boxes.
Mr. Ali, who said the ugly incident has been reported to the appropriate quarters, observed that it will affect the Commission's activities in those areas. As at the time of filing the report, the resident electoral commissioner, INEC Ebonyi State, Dr. Chukwemeka Joseph Chukwu, was said to be in Abuja. In Abakaliki, Uchechukwu Chibezidam, NTA News.
And INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu has described the spate of attacks on INEC offices as a crisis that must be fought head-on. This was during a meeting with resident electoral commissioners in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
The 2023 general election must be different from all previous elections in terms of our preparations and readiness.
Preparations battling to survive flames of fire.
INEC office is gone.
Since after the 2019 elections, flame after flame, about 24 fire incidents recorded in INEC offices across the country, from Ondo to Kano, Imo, Enugu, Abia, Akwa Ibom, Plateau, and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. A call for worry, so a meeting is summoned, but all waited a while at the door of the venue for a security sweep. No time to take chances, even at the headquarters. Security checked, time for meeting, but another bad news from Ebonyi State.
Just last night, Tuesday, 18th May 2021, 2 more offices in Ebonyi and Eza North local government areas of Ebonyi State were burnt down.
There is more to the fire, the INEC chair suspects.
These attacks are no longer freak events, but appear to be quite orchestrated and targeted at INEC. Clearly, these are acts of unjustifiable aggression which may undermine the Commission's capacity to organize elections and dent the nation's electoral process. The Commission will certainly work with the security agencies to deal with the perpetrators of these heinous crimes according to the law.
Doors closed, meeting over. The intelligence gathered from the resident electoral commissioners across the country will be presented in an Interagency Security Council meeting on Monday, 24th of May, 2021, to see how the rising tide on the attack of INEC facilities can be stemmed in the country. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
And due delay in criminal justice administration and the conspiracy of security agents with vandals are responsible for the incessant vandalism of road tracks in Nigeria. Thomas Ogbete reports that this was the position of guest on NTA's Current Affairs program, Good Morning Nigeria, today.
The resuscitation of the rail system in Nigeria is supposed to be a welcome development to all Nigerians, as this has brought a safer, faster and better transportation system to commuters. But the rate at which rail tracks are being vandalized in different parts of the country is becoming worrisome. Hence, guests on the program who could not hide their displeasure on this development unanimously agreed that the over 200 people currently in custody of the Nigerian police and Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps must be dealt with in accordance with the provisions of the law to serve as a deterrent to others.
A team of Chinese were arrested after having vandalized, removed parts of the rail track, but they were only fined 200,000. Whereas Abbas told us, and the whole world heard him, that removing, vandalizing, or destroying carries, each of these offenses carries a sentence of 21 years. Why is that not meted to the Chinese?
The guest also added that there is the need for Nigerians to take it as a duty to individually and collectively protect public infrastructure and other national assets.
In the course of our investigations and our study of the problem, we've come to understand that this has a correlation with the sudden springing up of recycling plants.
In Makurdi, there was a story. Civil defense arrested, police is part, and eventually soldier arrested both civil defense, this vandalizer, and police. By the time I was following up with the brigadier, I said, my brother, even the soldier who said they arrested them are also involved.
While lamenting the involvement of some railway workers in rail vandalization, they called on Nigerian Railway Corporation, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and other security agencies to always provide the much-needed manpower to secure the rail tracks. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Time now to go to Lagos, where Michael is standing by with some reports for us. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Elizabeth. Vaccines have been discovered and developed to help fight fatality from the COVID-19 infection. Despite this, however, new strains are breaking out and a third wave is hitting nations hard. Can Nigeria handle a third wave, especially with the nonchalance of citizens towards safety? What is in place to mitigate a third wave, if need be? Joy Ken Abakoya will tell us.
After more than 1 year of relentless strategies, synergies, restrictions, and positive results, Nigerians have adapted to life in a pandemic world. With growing coverage of COVID-19 vaccine across the country, business and religious activities as well as learning kicked off, but with strict measures to prevent further spread of the virus. However, in the last few weeks, mostly due to laxity, fueled by a false sense of security against getting infected, majority of Nigerians have thrown caution to the wind.
Not that I don't usually have a face mask, but the thing is, because of the sanitation has reduced, so I just don't wear it. I feel like everything is fine.
Well, the airwaves are charged with news of new strains of the COVID-19 virus ravishing nations, and a third wave lurking around.
This is not the time to be anxious, but it is time for us to keep to all the protocols of COVID-19 prevention that have been rolled out by the experts.
Lagos State is determined to rescue the nation from the impact of a third wave of the virus.
We are preparing and building resilience, first of all, to ensure that we make it very difficult for a mutant or new strain virus to enter Lagos.
Apart from the countries placed on the red list by the Presidential Steering Committee, Lagos is also closely monitoring developments and travelers from several other countries.
Until you eliminate the concept of vulnerability and the chain of transmission of disease, the next wave is always looking around the corner.
Positive response to vaccination in Lagos has led to the successful completion of the first phase of inoculation, with more than 259,000 people getting the first jab.
We're also going to be tracking whether those who have received the vaccine are still able to contract the virus, and if they do, what is the clinical outcome of you contracting the virus after you've been vaccinated?
For those waiting in line to take the shot, Lagos State has taken delivery of another batch of 57,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine from the federal government. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakuya.
Safeguarding maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea is a shared responsibility between national, regional, and international maritime players. These and many other factors formed the nucleus of discussion on developing maritime security culture in the Gulf of Guinea held in Lagos. Olumide Guntola reports.
Available data by the International Maritime Bureau in the year 2020 indicates that the Gulf of Guinea, which borders more than 3,700 miles of West African coast between Guinea and Angola, accounts for 90% of maritime kidnappings in the world. Prior to this period, several efforts had been made by authorities concerned to stem this tide and other crimes in the maritime sector. One of such is this capacity building course organized by the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center in collaboration with the Nigerian Navy and Denmark government. Representative of the Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Monde Unuere, laid emphasis on the impact of culture in formulating maritime security policy.
One could state that failure to give attention to the impact of culture in any maritime security policy or strategy could jeopardize the effectiveness of that strategy.
Facilitators of the course solicited for enhanced maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea in order to ensure economic growth in the region.
The first point is for us to be able to sensitize the main actors in the maritime security domain, and that's essentially what we are doing.
Ensuring enhanced maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea is therefore key to enhancing economic growth for the region.
With this course, participants say they are better prepared for the challenges ahead.
There's really need for synergy amongst all the stakeholders.
We have learned so much that we know who to contact in aspect of sea arm robbery.
With the knowledge of maritime security, we know how to apprehend the traffickers on the high seas.
This is the fourth training in its series. In Lagos, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
We'll take a break now, and when we return, the news will continue in Sokoto, where Asimao is waiting.
As Oni of Ife, as someone who cares about the well-being and safety of our people, it's time for each and every one of us to realize that COVID-19 is real and it has killed millions of people around the world. Scientists have developed this vaccine. The vaccine is safe for everyone, and it contains no microchip, nor can it alter our DNA. However, we must continue to stay safe and stay clean, wear face masks, clean our hands on a regular basis, and try as much as possible to avoid a very large crowd and gathering. For those who choose to be vaccinated, it will go a long way in protecting yourself and your loved ones from COVID-19.
Visit our website on www.nta.ng for more news and updates, or follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News. Stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live. Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College short proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Intermediate camera operation techniques. Date 17th May to 11th June 2021. 4 weeks. Electrical power, earthing, lighting, UPS, inverter and solar system. Date 31st May to 4th June 2021. 1 week. Studio broadcast equipment and OB operations. Date 14th June to 18th June 2021. 1 week. English grammar and pronunciation for broadcasters. Date 28th June to 23rd July 2021. 4 weeks. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant, while the course fee for the 1-week course is 40,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all the courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. The United States of America has invested about $122 million under the Memorandum of Understanding with Sokoto State Government from 2015 to date. This came to the fore when the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, paid courtesy visit on Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol at Government House, Sokoto. Dalhatu Abdullahi has the report.
The visit offered an opportunity for the American ambassador to discuss with the Sokoto State Governor on the U.S. support programs. The areas of concern under the MOU focused on increased access to quality education, agricultural services, effective healthcare delivery, including COVID-19 pandemic and nutrition for children, as well as security. Sokoto State has been benefiting from the collaboration with the U.S. government through many platforms and interventions. The visit by the will deepen the already existing cordial relationship between U.S. and the Sokoto State government.
We're very proud that since 2015, for example, USAID has invested $122 million in the health sector in Sokoto. We have a memorandum of understanding that we're hoping to expand, that we're currently expanding to more general primary health care as opposed to just the inoculations that were its first emphasis of focus.
We're looking forward to greater and deeper collaboration with the U.S. government and its agencies in Nigeria, especially in human capital development, and more collaborations in general education of the citizens and empowerment of our women and youth.
The American ambassador also had an interactive session with some selected journalists where issues of security in Nigeria dominated the discussions. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The keys to open the doors of solutions to the nation's problems are in the hands of Nigerians. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar stated this when he received on courtesy call the Pro-Chancellor University of Ibadan, Chief John Odigi Onyegun. Sheikh Muhammad Detti completes the report.
The Pro-Chancellor, Chairman of Council and former National Chairman, All Progressives Congress, was appointed by President Muhammadu Buhari April this year. Chief Odigi Onyegun said since then he has been looking for a chance to meet his Chancellor, the Sultan, to chart the way forward. The Pro-Chancellor was at the palace to formally introduce himself to his Chancellor, the Sultan of Sokoto. Chief Odigi appealed to the Sultan to work with the management to renew the infrastructure of the university. He frowned at the current state of the nation, calling on the Sultan to voice his words of wisdom to address the bedeviling challenges. While acknowledging the issue of the current state of the nation and the university, the Sultan called for prayers as a lasting solution, pledging support to the management of the University of Ibadan. He had thanked the President for appointing Chief John Odigi Onyegun as the Pro-Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, describing the visit as important and timely.
UI NTA became capital, trying to make sure that things go right. And wherever our presence was needed, we were there and we spoke.
The Pro-Chancellor was in company of the acting Vice Chancellor of the university and other top management staff. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
And that's it from Sokoto. The news will continue with Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you, Asmao. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, has waded into the ongoing strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress in Kaduna State. He has therefore invited the two parties to the trade dispute, the Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, and top officials of the state, as well as the President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Ayuba Waba, and top NLC leaders to an emergency conciliation meeting by 11 a.m. tomorrow, Thursday, May 20, 2020, at the office of the Minister of Labour and Employment, Federal Secretariat, Abuja. The Minister further directed the two parties to maintain the status quo ante bellum pending the resolution of the issues in contention. As NLC strike over the sack of workers in Kaduna State enters its third day, more leaders have joined in the call for amicable resolution of the dispute. Sulaiman Abdullahi Rigachukun reports.
Members of the organized labor converged on the Kaduna NLC Secretariat in continuation of the strike.
You know that we don't deploy workers' power unnecessarily. We only deploy workers' power when it becomes necessary and obvious.
A few meters away from the Secretariat, a group of women and youth staged a rally in support of the state government, citing developmental strides as reasons. Security operatives were on ground to maintain law and order.
My own is to ensure that there is adequate security. My own is to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order. And this is what I'm doing.
Based on the prevailing circumstances in Kaduna State, stakeholders, including opinion leaders, have continued to call on Kaduna State government and the Nigerian Labour Congress to return to the negotiating table with a view to having amicable resolution to the disagreement between them.
Now that you have what we may call almost a near standstill situation, and each party is not willing to blink or to back down, it is very, very important that we appeal, to both sides to please sheath their sword and allow voices of reason to prevail.
I believe they have a focus, they have some intellectuals around them. They should be, advised to come to the negotiating table with the NLC. NLC too is a team of intellectuals. They know what they are doing, they know they are right, they know what they are supposed to do, they know what they are not supposed to be doing.
The one strike is expected to end on Friday. Sulaiman Abdullahi Rigachukun, NTA News.
On the NLC strike, Kaduna State Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai says government is not against the rights of workers to embark on an industrial action, but will not tolerate any act of sabotage. He says government is fully committed to serving the people and will prosecute anyone or group who violates the laws of the land.
There are efforts to prevent legitimate businesses to open. There are efforts to prevent banks from opening, petroleum stations from dispensing fuel. This is totally criminal and illegal, and we are going to take action. We are making efforts to provide security for all businesses that wish to remain open. We are not against the right to strike. You're free to strike, but walk away from your institution and allow it to function without you.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, has appealed to workers in Kaduna State, especially essential workers, to consider the plight of women and children who are sick. This was as she condemned in strong terms the actions of nurses in Barau Diko Hospital in Kaduna, where it was alleged that a two-day-old baby was removed from life support, noting that the nursing profession is a vocation where the players should feel empathy for the patients and not the other way around.
Caregivers should remember that they go into that profession to protect life, not to destroy.
In view of the impacts of the one-month strike by judicial workers on justice delivery in the country, legal practitioners are calling on the union to find a melting point with government to resolve the impasse. Clement Barrick reports that some of the lawyers in Uyo are seeking.
Since April 6, 2021, this entrance has remained closed due to the indefinite strike by the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria. This situation is the same across the country. The industrial action has not only crippled administrative activities in court, but private legal practitioners are not finding the situation funny.
It has dragged us back by more than 5 years. In the next 50 years, the files at the Supreme Court will not, if you don't have new files, the current files at the Supreme Court will not be exhausted, except they just keep striking out.
So they can stay for the next 1 year without resuming work because they're still paying them salary. They are not the ones suffering. So the impact is really on the practitioners who use the courts as the means to express their labor and the litigants who wants their rights determined.
Justice delivery may have been on standstill for about a month, but the respondents believe this can be addressed through the right political will.
Get garnishee proceedings on board. Seize the monies accruable to states.
If powers are separated constitutionally, then these offices should be allowed to function in line with the constitutional separation of powers. That's my take.
The union members had downed their tools to press home their call for financial autonomy of the third tier of government. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
The National Executive Council of Trade Union Congress of Nigeria has cleared the air on the much-publicized visit to the head of service of Kaduna State by the union, saying it was not designed by any means to undermine the industrial action by NLC, nor was it meant as a solidarity visit to the state government. This is contained in a communique after an emergency virtual meeting on the ongoing worker strike in Kaduna presided by the TUC President, Komikori Olale. The meeting also emphasized that NLC and TUC are united in arms against exploitation, oppression, victimization, and all acts that enslaves the Nigerian worker. The Congress reassured workers and the general public that labor unity has not been compromised, adding that TUC is in solidarity with the NLC on the strike in Kaduna and looks forward to its early amicable resolution. Let's now head to Enugu, where Mina is standing by. Hello, Mina.
Hello, Elizabeth. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. Over 2 million women under childbearing age and children are targeted as recipients of various primary health care services in the ongoing maternal, newborn, and child health week in Enugu State. Wife of the state governor, Mrs. Monica Ugwai, while flagging off the exercise, urged mothers to take the program seriously in the interest of their babies and the society. Susan Eze has details.
At this event to flag off the maternal, newborn, and child health week, stakeholders are grateful for the commitment of the state government to the primary health care delivery system and to the pet project of the governor's wife, Ugo Touch of Life Foundation, for their support.
And there will be no effective intervention without primary health care under one roof. I want to encourage our mothers, our caregivers, to make use of this opportunity to partake of these free primary health services that will be brought to their, to their own front doors.
For greater efficiency, over 1,198 primary healthcare workers have been trained, especially in the face of COVID-19 vaccination. The governor's wife advised women on the importance of babies' nutrition and consistency with the routine immunization.
The child nutrition is very, very important. We need to take care of our children, we need to take care of ourselves, and the little ones around. Let's make sure their vaccines are up to date.
The exercise, which began on Monday, the 17th of May, will last till Friday, the 21st of May, 2021. It will render services such as immunization for children, antenatal care, family planning, among others. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
As Nigerians contend with the present economic reality and an inflectionary trend that has affected economic life, Chika Ugu in this report examines efforts by Enugu State government to improve on the standard of living of the residents of Enugu State.
Over the years, the economic fortune of Enugu State has evolved into a major center for coal and iron ore mining, to agriculture as a civil service state. The bulk of government's revenue is gotten from an economic strategy that has translated into effective management of resources. Public servants' wages is usually a major boost in various businesses in the state, as it affects sales and profit, as well as prices of goods and services.
The governor of this state says this repeatedly, that why he cannot afford to owe any worker is that the economy of this state is being piloted by the salaries of workers. It's a salaried state. If you remove workers, we don't have industries and all this and that. This state. Therefore, the state salary system is what pilots even private business firms in the state.
You will receive the same salary package at the end of the day with your counterparts in other agencies and departments or ministries. It will boost your morale.
Salary harmonization will no doubt improve the standard of living of not just the earners, but the businessmen, petty traders, the menial workers, as well as the economy of the state and country at large. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
That's it from Enugu. Nationwide continues in Jos with Felicia after this commercial break.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
NTA News 24, a 24-hour news station, brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shows.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
StarTimes channel 101, and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
The Sports Parliament, your weekly sports program, is back to the studio every Thursday, 10:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. live on the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest television network. Watch out for the parliamentarians with renewed vigor and zest. Mr. Speaker with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. Sports Parliament, a must-watch. Sports Parliament, the home of sports verdict. The eyes have it.
Glad to have you join us in Jos.
Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology, University of Jos, Jonah Musa, has emphasized the need for stakeholders to provide virus vaccine for young girls as a way of preventing them from contracting cervical cancer. This was at the University of Jos' 94th inaugural lecture. Bilkisunu has details.
In the inaugural lecture titled A Sexually Transmissible Cancer, Miracle of Cure or Prevention, Professor Musa notes that 500,000 new cases of cervical cancer are being diagnosed globally, in which 311,000 deaths occurred. He pointed out that women who are HIV positive are at high risk of having the disease, describing the situation as unfortunate. The professor decried low rates of cervical cancer screening in Nigeria, resulting to high incidences and mortality.
We can give preventive vaccines. We have human papilloma virus vaccine that can prevent the acquisition of this virus. Now, even if we give the vaccine, we also still encourage women to avail themselves to screening, what we call cervical. And the whole essence of cervical cancer screening is to detect those conditions that can lead to cancer. If we detect them, treat those conditions, then we have blocked cancer from occurring.
The university management lauded Professor Musa's effort and contributions in addressing various aspects of women-related health challenges. In Jos, Bilkis Nuhu, NTA News.
As people engage in daily activities, the act of sitting becomes necessary, but when a particular posture is prolonged, it leads to unhealthy conditions. This report examines the dangers of improper and prolonged sitting. The act of sitting could be described as being in a position in which one's weight is supported by one's buttocks rather than one's feet, with the back in upright position. Today, the modern workspace does not allow for much movement, as most activities are done seated all day. This could be detrimental to health.
When you sit for a long period of time and you adopt improper posture, there's a tendency for muscle guarding, there's a tendency for gradual development of muscle knots, there's a tendency for pain in your joints because of improper alignment of the skeleton and of the body in that sitting position.
However, a lot can be done to improve one's health and posture, as learning how to sit properly can go a long way to reducing wear and tear of the body muscles and bones.
It's recommended that within every 30 to 40 minutes, you get up from the seat, walk around your office, or get out of your office and come back. You cannot slide forward like this and say you are sitting. Even though a lot of people do that, they think it's a position of comfort for them. It's because slouching is not good for them. The best position is to adopt as I'm seated like this. The upper back is well supported. The lower back is also well supported. Your knee joint is angulated at like 90 degrees in such a way that your feet is flat on the floor.
To avoid the effect of prolonged sitting, regular exercise is also recommended. This is Nationwide. More reports in Abuja with Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Felicia. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, has inaugurated a multi-sectoral committee towards achieving sustainable success of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. Ruth Aguele reports.
Pictures, they say, capture memories. But these are beyond memories, but a life-changing experience for children across the country who are beneficiaries of the federal government's Homegrown School Feeding Program. To actualize the objectives of the program of promoting enrollment in schools and improve nutritional value of children, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has inaugurated a multi-sectoral committee drawn from different ministries and agencies to ensure sustainable progress of the program.
Because the food is making the children sit in this class, they will learn more. Before they will be playing outside, they will not be listening to their teachers, but once you say, if you are not sitting in class, no food for you, you'll see everybody sitting there. So we hope we will see the enrollment will increase. On this team, you are one. And if this school feeding program wins, all the stakeholders here claims the success.
It is therefore important that we utilize a multi-sectoral approach in its implementation and also its planning. This means that we must work with our colleagues from the various relevant line ministries to truly jointly realize these objectives.
Members of the committee pledge their commitment by ensuring they provide the necessary support required in meeting the desired target towards impacting communities and families across the country. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
The recent resurgence of COVID-19 third wave in parts of the world is compelling countries to initiate proactive measures in the prevention of new infection and spread of the pandemic. As a wake-up call, Nigeria is working round the clock to avert the devastating impacts of the new variant through rapid response. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that guests on NTA's Tuesday Live say defeating the wave requires a multi-sectoral collaboration.
The third wave of COVID-19 and the reinsurgence of a new variant of the virus is increasing threats to global health system and gradually returning the world to the state of economic and social restrictions.
And we know that some people also even escape during the 7-day testing, even though we have announced suspension of passports. So these are the ways in which cases come into the country. At the point of entry, they can be negative, but because they are in the convalescent stage, after some few days, they can turn out to be positive, and then they'll continue to infect the public.
We detected the strain in the country. Then what NCDC did and the Presidential Steering Committee was to assess the risk of spread of that strain in the country, and then to also look at the trend in other countries that have recorded that variant. And that was why the government proactively decided to reinstitute those preventive measures, those regulations that are meant to keep Nigerians safe.
Worried by these realities, experts say Nigeria should Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Now to vaccination. The Executive Secretary of the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, James Lalu, has advised its members to freely access health centers for COVID-19 vaccination. James Lalu was speaking during a stakeholders meeting with disabilities shortly after receiving his first dose of COVID-19 vaccine. He appealed to members to avail themselves the opportunity to be vaccinated as it is free, safe and effective, and urged them to dispel any rumor intended to discourage them.
I was having such fear, but today, thank God, to the National Primary Health Care Development Agency today, they created the necessary awareness about this vaccine today, and I have received my own. As we start today, we are going to the socio-political zones in very soon, so that we will create more awareness.
Members of the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 attended the event, which also drummed support for the inclusion of persons with disabilities in all spheres of life. And next is sports.